One of the biggest concerns I get from patients is exposure to radiation. And dentistry has come a long way when we talk about amount of exposure we get from taking X-rays. In the old days, with the old X-ray machines, those big bulky things, moving them around, trying to position it, and with the films, they required more X-ray exposure. The X-ray units weren't as precise and as efficient. So obviously the exposure levels was much higher. And patients had a right to feel concerned because they were getting a bunch of X-rays, and if this was done a few times a year, it would have been somewhat of a concern. But with the advancement in digital technology and improvement in X-ray technology, we were able to make X-ray machines that were more efficient, more precise. The scattered radiation or X-rays that are sent out in all directions were minimized, and we were able to just focus all the rays and just really point it at the area that we're working on. That on its own reduced X-ray exposure significantly. And with the digital technology, the amounts of radiation required to get the exposure was minimized significantly. So we went from taking a full mouth X-ray, the amounts of X-ray exposure with the digital sensors is the equivalent of maybe taking 3 or 4 the old traditional X-rays. So you can imagine we can take 3 or 4 times as many X-rays as today and expose the patients to the same amount of radiation that they had to go through just taking a full mouth X-ray. That on top of the panographic machines where we can take a full mouth X-ray with a fraction of the exposure, and the 3D cone beams, which uses very little X-ray exposure. Much better diagnosis, much more accurate images of the teeth, of the bone structure with much less radiation. And the latest thing in dentistry is I believe one of the most exciting things in the digital and the X-ray realm is the handheld X-ray machine called the Nomad. It's the first handheld FDA-approved X-ray unit, which allows the operator to stay in the room with the patients while the X-ray is being taken. So if you remember the old times, and even now in many offices, they sit you in the chair, they put the sensor or the film in your mouth, they position the X-ray unit, and they run out to press the button and expose you to the radiation. Now, at our office, we only use the Nomad machine, and the operator is right there with you. You can imagine how safe it is because even the operator doesn't have to step out. What are the advantages of Nomad? Safety is the number one biggest thing for me. Less exposure, obviously, because it's more safe. Much better accurate images with the digital technology and the Nomad used together because of the efficiency and just the way the machine is made. And overall, faster treatment time because the assistant doesn't have to run in and out of the room to take the X-rays. They're right there with you. They're just moving the sensors and taking snapping shot of the teeth, which leads to better image, less exposure, and better diagnosis ultimately, and really ultimately better treatment.